So you're a leader, and you're bringing AI into your organization. That's a huge step. But how do you make sure you're making a smart investment and not, just buying a really fancy, really expensive paperweight? That's what we're going to get into.
I think this quote just nails it, right? It's the perfect way to frame this. You buy a chair, it's a chair. The deal is done. But when you buy AI, well, that's not the end. That is literally day one. The moment you plug it in, it starts learning, it starts changing, and your relationship with it has only just begun.
And that thinking leads right to the single biggest mistake that so many leaders make. They try to buy AI with the same old checklist they use for, say, Microsoft Office. Comparing features, haggling over the price. But that approach just doesn't work here because AI isn't a static tool. It's a dynamic capability that you have to grow and nurture over time. So let's really dig into that. Let's unpack exactly why that traditional procurement model completely falls apart when you apply it to AI. And honestly, it all comes down to asking the wrong questions from the start. Think about it. The old way is obsessed with features and price. Does it have this feature? Can we get it for 10% less? But here's the thing with AI. Its most powerful features, well, they haven't even been developed yet. They're going to emerge after it starts learning from your unique data. A simple feature checklist can't possibly capture that future value.
Okay, so we need a totally new way to look at this, a better lens. Instead of that feature list, we need to ask three really important questions. First up is fit. How well is this thing actually going to work with our specific, messy, real-world data, not some perfect demo data? Second, scalability. What happens when our data doubles or triples? Is this system going to grow with us, or is it going to crash and burn? And third, maybe the most important, is transparency. Can you actually explain why the AI made a certain decision, or are we just supposed to trust this mysterious black box?
Asking those questions really brings us to the core idea we're talking about today, and that's the massive difference between hiring a vendor and engaging a true partner. These aren't just two words. They represent two completely different worlds for your business. And you can see the two paths laid out right here. A vendor relationship, that's a transaction. They sell you a prepackaged black box, they hit their sales goal, and they're gone. It's all about checking boxes on a spec sheet. But a partner is in a relationship with you. They co-create a solution that's transparent, a glass box, and it's designed from the ground up to evolve as your business changes. The focus isn't on the one-time sale. It's on shared success for years to come. Now, if you stick with that old transactional vendor model, you're opening yourself up to a huge risk. It's called vendor lock-in. This is basically when all of your valuable data gets trapped inside their system, making it incredibly difficult, not to mention expensive, to ever switch to someone else, even if a much better solution comes along. You're just stuck.
So how do you protect yourself? Simple. There are two non-negotiable things you need in any AI contract. First is data portability. You have to have the right to take all of your data with you if you decide to leave. No questions asked. And second is interoperability. You have to make sure the AI can talk to and work with your other critical systems, not just live in its own little isolated silo.
Okay, so we've hammered on the problem with the old way of doing things. Now let's flip it and talk about the solution. Adopting what we call the partnership mindset. This is all about building a fundamentally different kind of relationship right from day one.
The shift is pretty stark. It's from procure and deliver to partner and evolve. See, in the old world, the vendor drops off the software and boom, their job is done. But in this new world, the collaborator, they stay. They are invested in refining, tweaking, and improving that AI model as it learns from your data month after month, year after year. Their success is actually tied to your success.
And the engine that drives this kind of partnership is a concept called co-creation. Now think of this as going way beyond just simple teamwork. It means your team and the partner's team are in it together, sharing direct responsibility for the final outcome, making sure the AI delivers real, measurable business value.
So, how can you tell if a potential vendor is just a vendor or if they're a true partner? Well, here's the ultimate litmus test. Don't let them dazzle you with a slick, polished demo using their own perfect data. No. Insist on a pilot project using your messy, complicated, real-world data. Believe me, their reaction to that request will tell you everything you need to know. All right, let's make this all feel a little more concrete. I want to walk you through a real-world story that just brilliantly shows the difference between a simple transaction and a genuine partnership.
So here's the scene. A major bank needs a new, state-of-the-art AI system to catch fraudulent transactions. It's a huge deal, and they've narrowed it down to two potential vendors. Let's call them Vendor A and Vendor B.
Vendor A comes in with that classic transactional pitch. They've got a super powerful model, no doubt, but it's a total black box. Their pitch is basically, here's the software, just plug it in. Trust us, it works. But Vendor B, they took a completely different road. They proposed a co-design pilot, working hand-in-hand with the bank's own risk and compliance teams. And crucially, they built transparent dashboards so the bank's people could see exactly why the AI flagged a certain transaction.
So, any guesses who won the contract? Of course, it was Vendor B. And the reason is so important. They weren't just selling a product. They were delivering a capability. They proved they were committed to building a system that could adapt and evolve as the bank's needs changed, all while building trust through transparency.
So let's bring all this home. Let's turn these ideas into an actual tool that you can take with you. Think of this as your new essential checklist for any AI procurement meeting you're in from now on.
Here are the 3 non-negotiable questions you have to ask. Number 1, can we run a pilot using our real data? That's your test for co-creation. Number 2, if we decide to part ways in a couple of years, how exactly do we get all of our data back? That's your test for portability, and it protects you from lock-in. And number 3, can you walk me through step by step how the model arrived at this specific decision? That's your all-important test for transparency.
And here's the bottom line. If a potential vendor hesitates, or gets defensive, or gives you some vague, hand-wavy answer to any of these 3 questions, you need to see that as a massive red flag. A true partner will have clear, confident answers ready to go.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. As you look at the next AI deal on your plate, ask yourself, are you treating this like a simple purchase off a shelf? Or are you building a strategic partnership that's going to deliver real value for years to come? Honestly, the choice you make right there could define your success.